So, artificial intelligence is showing up in our classrooms. And it's not a quiet arrival, it's a huge, seismic shift. This isn't just about some new software. We're at a moment that holds incredible promise to completely reshape learning. But it also carries some pretty significant risks that we absolutely have to get right. Okay, let's get into it.
So, what's all the excitement about? Well, picture this: a world where every single student, especially adult learners, with their complicated schedules and unique needs, has a personal tutor that's on call 24/7, one that instantly gets them and adapts to their learning style. That's the kind of game changing potential we're talking about here.
And that is the crucial point. We're way beyond thinking of AI as just a fancy calculator or a search engine. As it gets woven deeper into how we design and teach courses, it's really evolving into a genuine partner in education.
At its absolute best, AI can offer learning paths that are truly personalized. So let's say one student is struggling with a concept in economics. The AI can feed them extra practice and tutorials. Meanwhile, another student who's already got it down can just move on to more advanced stuff. That kind of adaptability can be a huge boost for engagement. And really critically, it can help us meet the specific goals of adult learners. This is the promise, and it's what's driving this whole thing forward.
But, and this is a big but, with all this power comes a really serious responsibility. For every bit of exciting innovation, there's a potential ethical cost we have to stop and consider. This is where the conversation gets incredibly important.
So it makes you wonder, right? If this technology is so powerful and can create a unique educational experience for every single person, what's the downside? What's the catch? Well, it turns out there are three pretty big ones.
First up, algorithmic bias. Just imagine an AI that's trained on old data from a school district, where historically, students from low-income areas were always underfunded. While the AI might actually learn from that data to recommend fewer advanced resources to new students from those same neighborhoods. It ends up accidentally creating this vicious cycle of disadvantage. That right there is algorithmic bias in action.
And this is not just some theory. Researchers like Baker and Hahn are pointing out that the only solution is to actively look for and fight bias at every single stage. We're talking from the moment the data is collected all the way to when the tool is finally used in a classroom. It has to be a conscious effort from the very beginning to the very end.
Okay, the second big catch is data privacy. You have to remember, AI systems are hungry for data. It's what they feed on. Think about it for a second. Would you want every single question you ask, every mistake you make in a class, recorded and analyzed without you even really knowing about it? That's the risk, and it's a huge concern for adult learners who might not be up to speed on all the complex data policies.
And this isn't just a vague feeling people have. A 2023 study that looked at AI's impact found a staggering increase in privacy concerns. I mean, how big of an increase? The study saw a jump of nearly 69%. That is a massive red flag. You just can't ignore a number like that. And the third ethical hurdle we have to talk about is learner autonomy. The whole goal of education, especially for adults, is to create independent thinkers who can direct their own learning. But what happens if an AI just spoon-feeds a student the right answer instead of guiding them to figure it out themselves? That's not teaching them how to learn. It's teaching them how to follow instructions. And that kind of undermines the entire point of it all. So to fight back against these risks, experts are building frameworks. This quote from Adams and their colleagues really lays out the foundation we need. It's not just about one thing, it's about a whole suite of values like transparency, fairness, privacy, and autonomy that have to be baked into the core of any educational AI.
Okay, so we've identified the problems. Now, how do we actually navigate them? Thankfully, there's something like a map for educators. It's a framework called TPACK, and it's designed to help untangle these really complex issues. So TPACK stands for Technological, Pedagogical, and Content Knowledge. The main idea here is that these three things have to be in perfect balance. Think of it like a three-legged stool. If you've got amazing tech but don't know how to teach with it, or you're a brilliant teacher who doesn't really know the subject, the whole thing just falls apart. TPACK is all about finding that sweet spot in the middle.
And it breaks down so nicely. First, you got technological knowledge. That's about really understanding what the AI can and can't do. That forces you to ask, okay, how do we stop it from being biased and how do we protect data? Next up is pedagogical knowledge. That's the art of teaching. It's knowing when to let a student struggle a bit and when to step in and help. The ethical question then becomes, how do we get an AI to make that kind of careful judgment?
And finally, there's content knowledge. This one's pretty straightforward. We have to make sure the information the AI is giving out is actually accurate, impartial, and fair.
You know, understanding the problem is one thing, but building a responsible future, that requires taking concrete action. We've got to move from just talking about frameworks to actually implementing them.
So, the million-dollar question is this. How do we actually put all these principles into practice, in real schools for real students? Well, the research points to a pretty clear four-step plan. Step 1, we've got to develop ethical AI training, like certification courses for teachers on data privacy and bias. Step 2, we have to get everyone in the same room, educators, tech developers, ethicists, working together. Step 3, conduct regular ethics audits. Basically, use checklists to constantly evaluate these AI tools against our standards. And finally, step 4, build support networks, so no educator ever feels like they're alone in trying to figure out some tricky ethical problem.
But even with a blueprint like that, this journey is far from over. I mean, this technology is evolving so incredibly fast that there are still some major questions we just don't have the answers to yet.
So here's a quick summary of where we are. We know the core risks are bias, privacy, and autonomy. We know frameworks like TPAC give us a good map, and we know that ongoing training is non-negotiable. But what we don't know is just as important. We're missing long-term studies. We still don't really know how these frameworks will work in different cultures, and we urgently need practical, scalable strategies for the people who are actually designing these tools. And just so you know, all the insights we've gone through in this explainer are grounded in solid research. They're drawn from a systematic literature review that was published in the Turkish Online Journal of Educational Technology. And all of this brings us to our final question. It's really the one that should guide every single decision we make from here on out. As we build the classrooms of the future, how do we ensure that this incredibly powerful technology always serves the individual student's growth and curiosity, and not just the efficiency of the system? That's the challenge, but it's also the incredible opportunity that's right in front of all of us.